Hello. This is the much anticipated block stitch video. And as you can see, it has these nice gaps naturally put into it from how you do the block stitch. And when you stretch it out, you have these nice little squares, which is where it gets its name. And what's great about this stitch is it is pretty versatile and you can use it in lots of things. It is commonly seen in blankets. Obviously, if you use the right coloring, you can really pop a color in it. For June, for Pride Month, this would look absolutely fabulous with a neutral for the blocks and then all of these little single crochets being a color of the rainbow. I have done it in hats. This is actually a doll hat, so it's super tiny. As you can see, it fits in my hand. I will do a tutorial probably with these later and show you how easy it is to do this with different size hats. So for this one, I did pick these two colors and went ahead and made one before I got on here, just so you could see an example. Now, the pattern we're using today, you're going to see on this, and you're going to see that you might want to go an extra square depending on how you feel about the spacing. Okay, so we're going to get started with this. It will be the same pattern that I did here, generally speaking. I will be showing you some different things about this seam. As you can tell, this is the seam. It does look a little off, and it's because of how I chose to experiment on different ways to make this easy for someone that was new at crochet. So there was a couple different ways that I did this side, but because the seam isn't ideal for everybody, if we can work in continuous rounds, your seam will look more like this. So we're going to do that with this next one, but I will explain how to do it in rows if you're not comfortable going completely in continuous rounds. If you want it to not stretch as much as this, you're going to just add another group of stitches. To give you a different look, I'm going to make the main color of this be the green, and then our single crochets will be this dark charcoal color. So to start, you are going to first chain 30 because we work in groups of 3. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. So now that covers all the stitches I need. However, we need to be able to turn. So since we're doing double crochet, we're going to add 2 more stitches. And then we are going to go in the 3rd chain from our hook and double crochet. If you are not sure what I was doing with the chaining and you do not know what a double crochet in US terms is, I have videos listed below in the description that you can go to help give you a tutorial on these different methods. I will show you real quick how to do a double crochet so you can see it, just in case your brain is fogging out and you can't tell from my hand. And then we will continue, and I will pause the video so that way you can catch up to me and meet me at the last stitch. So to do a double crochet, in fact, I did this wrong. So what I'm doing right now, laughing at myself, is rows. If you are doing rows, then what we just did is correct. If you're wanting to do it in the round, please stop and take out all those double crochet. I do sincerely apologize. So I will be taking them out in a second, but first, to do a double crochet, you need to have 2 loops on your hook. So you'd have 1 loop and then you're going to yarn it over. That's how you end up with 2. And you go in the next chain and then you yarn over and pull through. And then you yarn over and pull through 2. And yarn over and pull through 2. Just like that. And that's a double crochet. So since my brain went automatically to rows instead of in the round, this is how you would do rows. Each time we do this and come to this end, you would fasten off. So you'd tie off, make a knot, and then you'd put on your next piece of yarn, your next color, to then start and attach it to then start your next row. How you prefer to attach it is up to you. There are multiple ways to do it. I have shown ways to do it. The way I typically show, where you connect it and in that last stitch and then move on, kind of caused some of this this right here to happen. So to avoid having this weird back seam when you do it in rows, definitely cut it off, start with the next color, and go from there. And I will talk about what you should be expecting at that when we pause and go into our rounds. So let me take this out. If you're going to go in the round, you will be following me. I will have an example to show everyone doing rows when we get to that point. So right now we have 32 stitches on here, or chains. Go ahead and take out those 2 extras because we only need 30. And then you're going to make sure this is straight, and you're going to bring it around and just do a slip stitch in there and chain to make it, chain 2, to make it your first double crochet. That makes it easier. And then you're going to go around this circle in double crochets. And we're going to go all the way around. Now I'm going to bring it closer for you just so you guys can see. And I'll do 1 more double crochet and then pause. You just got to take your time to find those chains. They might look a little different being that it's in a circle, but it's the same thing as though it was a row. It's just rounded. So again, you're doing the same thing you were doing on the other. We're going all the way around in this color, the main color you chose to be the blocks. You're going to yarn over, go through the next stitch, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. And go all the way around. Make sure you have 30 stitches when you're done, and I will see you when we get to that last stitch so we can talk about what to do from here. And when we come back, I will have one that is a row to show how to do the row as well. Okay, I am back. I have a row here, and then I have the round. So if you did it and you got 30 stitches, realistically, you want this chain, this starting chain that you did, instead of it counting as a stitch, it just being a turning chain. The reason for that is then you can hook into it and to go up to the next row each time, and it gives you a more fluid line for your seam. but it can also count as a stitch. If you count it as a stitch, then you're going to have one block that is going to have a coloring happening that's a little different on that edge for the seam, and then when you're blocking it off, it would look like that. So it might be a little bit smaller based on how the following rows are going up, because it's got the turning chain in it. So I'm going to do this one first because it's super quick, and I started with the row last time. So obviously it changed colors, but I'm going to put in that last row. This does make it so you have more thread to weave in, but don't stress it. Honestly, you can make small little bits like this for each one when you do this, and just make a long thread for the top and just use it all the way down. If your alternate color you have just slightly longer, you can take the time to then sew together in that spot so it color matches. But don't stress that for now. Just finish off and weave in that end. And then, and like I said, if you want to do it a different way, you can. I was just noticing this had the least effect on how my seam looked at the end. So I'm going to put it right here. I'm going to try and put it like all the way over. And then you're going to chain 3 as you're connecting it in. So your first one might be a little weird there. And then you go 2 more. And then you're going to count the actual stitches. 1, 2, 3. I know it's kind of hard with this color it shows. I didn't think about that. Not the stitch markings on the top. You want to actually count the actual bar stitches, so that way you have 3. This one's going to look a little weird because it's on the edge, like I was just talking about. So top, you go 1, 2, 3, and then you go in between that 3rd and 4th stitch, and you're going to make a single crochet. You're going to then chain 2, and then count 1, 2, 3, and go over in between the 2 stitches, the 3rd and 4th, and make a single crochet. I'm going to zoom us in a little so you can see these stitches a little better. Again, I'm going to chain 2, and then I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to put it in between. So it's actually going under the 2 stitch V's that you have up at the top that you usually, with me, stitch into, and make that single crochet. So it's actually going in between them. That helps kind of mark them off and make them a square. So again, chain 2, 1, 2, 3. And you're going to do this all the way across for the row. And let me get it. This actually part goes really quick, so I'm trying to just do it really fast and show you what it will look like, and then move on to the round. Because your last stitch, like your first stitch, is going to be a little wonky. 1, 2, and 3. So you have a turning stitch right here that you can actually go into, because you have to turn. But you see how that makes that spot right there? So we're going to then take this, finish it off, and block it through. And we will get to the next part of this one in a moment for getting up there. So please be patient if you're waiting on that. So for this next part of this one, you have all of your stitches in. and it's nice. It didn't twist, so it's nice and perfect. You're going to go in to that turning stitch, and you want to actually for this one I do want to go ahead and tie this off. I want to tie my next color onto the yarn I'm using, so that way when I go through like a slip stitch, like that, I can do my chain, and you're going to chain 2, and then and that covers, actually you want to chain 3, because the first chain is like a single crochet, but we want to then do the chain 2 to take us over 3. So you have 3 there. So 1, 2, just like the other one. It's the same thing. We're just working in a round circle instead of in a row. So you do 1 single crochet, count 1, 2, 3 stitches, go in between the 3rd and 4th, and make a single crochet. 1, 2, a double crochet. Count the double crochet stitches. I'm not sure why I said that for a minute, but it sounded in my head like afterwards it was wrong. So count your stitches from in between here. 1, 2, 3. So in between the 3rd and 4th, after we chain 2, we're going to put in a single crochet. 1, 2. And because this is really quick, I'm just going to keep going on this one too and get us to the next part, so that way I can get you guys to it. And it should be really easy to count this, because you should have 10 sections with working to 30, because we're doing multiples of 3. And then 1, 2, 3. So what I'm going to do here is 1, 2, and then I'm going to come into that chain, and I'm going to bring that in, but instead I'm going to pull up. If you noticed, I didn't cut this one a second ago. I'm going to pull it up and slide it through both. But because it's gonna, like, you can leave this here and keep working to minimize how much weaving in of ends you have to do, or you can go ahead and finish it off there and make a knot. So I'm going to chain 2 to be my turning, and then I'm going to, in this one, double crochet. And you're going to double crochet 3 double crochets in each chain 2 space. So again, we're going to double crochet 3 double crochets in each chain 2 space. So when you do that, and you've done it a couple times, you're going to see your new block develop, just like that. So now I'm going to pause on this one and come back to our row. Thank you for being patient if you're working on the rows. And we're going to take this right here and do that. So you can go back and do it over here, or you can flip-flop it and work it over here. So for this one, well, yes, we can put our little turning chain, which is what I would recommend, so that way you don't have an odd look here happening. Just put that little turning chain there. put little 2 chains and leave it be, and then just like it was right there, because it's going to help you keep it the same because you need it to go each way. So we're just going to not count that one and go 1, 2, 3. And now we're going to skip that single crochet right there and go into the next chain 2 space and double crochet 3. And you're going to keep doing this all the way across the row, and then we'll be going back to white. And if you guys remember from seeing this, we're doing 3 of those rows and then 4 of the blocks. So I'm going to pause the video, I'm going to come back, and we'll have that second row of blocks done, and I'll come back and do a reminder of both the chain 2 with single crochet and getting it going in the blocks, and then we'll come back at the end and talk about how to close these up. Welcome back. We got that 3rd row done, and it should look like this if it's in the round, and which if it's in the round for you, do not stress if that bottom is looking a little snug. That goes to the bottom of the cup. We're working from the bottom to the top, so that's going to be perfectly fine because the bottom of your coffee cup is not as wide. Now, for those working in the row, yours should look very similar to this. If you have some peek throughs here and there like that, that's okay. That's just how it's naturally lining up. So I'm down here at the end, and while we have this gap because of how the pattern works. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make another double crochet right there in that stitch. And I'm going to do it, I think I'm going to do it in the back row. I'm going to do it back loop only. And that's going to be our spot where we're turning. I'm going to go ahead and cut that and finish it off. So get that string in there, pull tight. And that gives us a spot to turn in the white. So I'm going to just go over a couple spots on this quick since we already did the whole row a little bit ago, and then you can continue working. We will need 7 rows in total, so after you get this one done, you will again do the 3 double crochets in each one. So there's our first little chain to make our single crochet, and we're going to chain 2 more. And we put it in that little turning spot so that way everything looks nice and uniform, and we're going to just ignore it. It doesn't exist. And you've got these 3. So you're going to put a single crochet in between 3 and 4. Now you're going to chain 2. And again, double crochet, or single crochet, excuse me, in between, because we're US terms, in between 3 and 4, and continue doing that across. Once you get across, you're going to do what we did before and hook. You're gonna end that white in this little turning chain we made. Then you're gonna pop up and go do what we just did previously. You can look back in the video. I will do a little preview of it when we get to that point, really quick in a little while. So go ahead and finish this up. If you feel comfortable, you can keep going till you get through 7 rows. Otherwise, you can keep letting the video go and catch up. And we will touch on that 3rd row in a little bit. So if you're working in the round, we're going to go into our turning stitch right there, and like this, but you go inside, find that gray if you didn't cut it off, or reattach it, and we're gonna go through it and the loop that was on the hook. Now we're going to chain 1, 2, and 3, and then we're going to count over 1, 2, 3 and put a single crochet in between 3 and 4, and you're going to do that all the way around, just like if you're working a row. And when we get back, we're going to switch to the color just like we did before in that turning chain stitch, and keep going around. So I will be back once I get these done, so we can do one more look at doing another row of these, and I will leave the last set for you and come back to sew them up. So I will see you in a moment once we get this row done. Okay, we are back here, and we got those 2 rows done. So I'm going to start on this one again like I did here, and do the same here, and then I will meet you back once you have the 7 rows done. So it should look like this in some capacity. So again, 1 row, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, because this chain row is counted as a row. So if you're doing it in the round, it will pretty much look like this and be done. We just got to weave in ends, and then if it's this one, it'll look finished. It just needs sewn around the sides. Okay, so we'll cut this off. Do that. And then get that all straightened up. So again, we're going to make basically a turning stitch right here in that single crochet, and what it allows for is so your work doesn't get weird not starting in that same spot. So I just chain 2, and now I'm going to go over into the 2 chain space and put 3 double crochets. And then go over to the next chain space, 2 chain space, and again 3 double crochet, and I'm going to do that all the way across, and you will continue do that again with the next set that you have to put on this. If you are still confused after you get done with this, just rewind the video to where you need for whatever row you're getting ready to work on. So you can rewind back to see this, or rewind back to see the single crochet 2 chain space row. So I'm going to put that to the side, and then really quickly come over to this one because it is slightly different. I have my 2 chain space right there, and what I need to do is come over here and connect to this one. And before I go in like that, I'm just gonna pull it through like that. I'm going to reconnect the green. Oh, I don't have to because we're leaving it in there. I forgot. So I'm gonna pull it up like that and pull it through, and tighten up that gray and pull through it. And then I'm going to chain 2 so I can bring us up to the next row, and then put 3 double crochets in that space. And then go over to the next space and put 3 double crochets there, and you'll again do that all the way around, and connect just like we have been each time right here to get that nice seam going. If you're confused on when you get around to here, just rewind and see. Again, we're leaving this connected to make it a little easier and making it so you have less ends to weave in, so this is more of a sewless coffee cozy. Okay, so to close up this one, we got our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows. I'm going to come right here and do a slip stitch, and then cut that and pull. Now I'm going to pull this, put this inside out for a second, and this one right here hasn't been secured, nor has it been cut off, so I'm going to cut it, giving it a little bit of slack, and then I'm going to take it and just make a knot to finish that part off. And so then all you should have to do for this, now that you've gotten all these pieces put together, is weave in these 4 ends, and then you have this beautiful mint chocolate chip themed coffee cozy, or whatever colors you're using. Mine just happens to look very mint chocolate chip. So congratulations on your coffee cozy. If you were doing the rows, stay right here and you'll see that next. Okay, and I'm back with this one. Ooh, I'm just like hitting stuff. And again, we got our 7 rows. Now we do have a bunch of ends to weave in. I left 1 string on the end of the top really long, so that way I can sew all the way down. Because it is almost entirely blue, I'm not going to stress the couple white spots I have. But the thread is long enough, at least on this end, to sew those spots in white, so it's a nice consistency across. Now, when you do this, you want what's going to be the outside of your piece to be inside as you sew it in. That way, all of your stitching is hidden when you bring it right side out. So real quick, I'm going to go through and weave in ends. This is where you need your tapestry needle. And just go on through. And whatever side you're having your end stick out of, that should also be the back, so that way as it gets moved, adjusted, washed, etc., they don't eventually poke out. They should be, if they're going to poke out, they should poke out like in the back. And I do cut mine as I go. Personal preference, you don't have to. And that's just so I know where I'm at. And then I'm leaving those 3 white ones there to work with after, once I'm sewing the side. So I just spun it so that way I still have the same side facing top, so I know what side to work with later. And for this one, it's easier to kind of weave it into the bottoms of the double crochet. The white ones, again, it just goes into the bottom of the double crochet and then it's not even seen. Very easy. Like that. And you just do this however you're comfortable with. It's not really like a one way fits all. I'm merely showing you suggestions so you can get started and find a way that works for you. Almost done. And if you did this way and you're suddenly regretting it because of all the ends you're weaving in, yes, there is an advantage to working in the round so long as you feel comfortable doing it. But the end results both look great, and you wouldn't necessarily be able to tell one from the other how they were made. The only thing that might give you a clue is this seam, but that's not even a guarantee. So don't think yours won't look as good because you worked in rows or anything like that. Let's see. Okay, so that's done. Oh, I cut that one too short. You see that? It just popped right out. How did I even pull that off? Okay, so need it to okay, I'm going to go off camera, I think, to I don't even know how I managed to do that. Like, I did not pay, I guess it wasn't tied. Let me get my hook. That might help. So I'm just gonna leave it recording so you can see what's happening in case you have something like that happen to you. So since that happened right there, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have it connected still. I'm gonna take a piece of the navy blue yarn, and I'm gonna take my hook. I obviously wasn't paying attention when I did something there, because I pulled and it just said nope. There it is. Could not find that piece. Okay. So now that I found the loose piece that's causing all the havoc, I'm not sure exactly how I pulled that off, but nonetheless, it's fine. I'm just gonna bring it through with everything else, with the extra string I have in there. And I'm going to take this string that I have holding the loop, and I'm going to tie it to that little string that I apparently cut. And I'm going to cut this other part of it so it's off, and I'm going to tie it to that string too. And then I'm going to tie both ends of the string I looped in there together. So now I have 3 more ends to kind of weave in, but I know it's attached. And that's really what matters. All I can figure is I must have cut part of the work when I was doing that and didn't even catch it. Which that can happen, so there you go. This will still work. And that was a great learning experience for someone in case that happens. Get that all woven in quick. And then since all of this has been done before, I'm not going to stress too much on the video. I will, I suppose, sew the edge for you quick, just so if you haven't watched any of my other videos, you know how to do it. It is really just a matter of picking a stitch you like to do and roll with it there. So I'll have these white ends and then this. Okay, let's finish this up and get this sewn together. I'm gonna just do the blue on camera and to show you generally what it looks like, because each one of the white ones is just gonna take more time to the video, and it's only gonna be a stitch or two. And because of how this works, I'm gonna be going all the way down with the blue, and it will have it held together until I come back with the white. So as you do this, it doesn't matter how you're stitching it, however is preferred for you. If you have a specific stitch you like to do, if you don't have a stitch, you don't know stitches, that's okay too. You just want to move back and forth between the two and make sure it's secured by sticking your finger in between here and there to make sure there's no holes. Oops, sorry. And obviously I will have some holes right here as I skip the white, and that's okay because I'm not worried about that just yet. Like I said, I will do it off camera after I get this part done to save video time for you, and it does give the gist of it. So as I'm going along, I'm going to continue to stretch through, and yeah, I just had that little gap there with the white, which is fine because I will fix that momentarily. I'll skip over here. And once you get all, you want to continue, because this has multiple colors, you want to make sure your colors are lining up as you're moving along. And then we are about done. If you're still with me, thanks for still hanging out. I know that for in the round, I did finish it early, so you might not still be here if that's the case. But you are, I appreciate you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging out through the whole video. Please like and subscribe, share with your friends. I do appreciate it all. I do plan on doing a giveaway on my channel once we get to a certain point. I was thinking of 50 subscribers to be the first giveaway spot. I'll make a special video on that soon. And I will be doing another tutorial here shortly for the coffee cozies with learning the stitches. I think I'm going to do I have it written down. Let me see if I can find that paper quick. What one am I going to do next? Let's do the shell stitch is a pretty good one. A lot of people like the prettiness of the shell stitch, so I will do either it or the bean stitch, but those will be my next two. I'm going to go ahead since that was weaved off. So I'm going to turn it inside out. Like I said, I'm going to do those white ones off camera. So this is what it will look like. And as you can see, here's the seam. So it's not going to look that too much different from this one. No one would know really which way is which. Just that you have a seam there, and that's okay. But this gives you another this is a great stitch for blankets, for hats. I will do a tutorial on using this stitch as a hat shortly. And here it is in all of its glory on a coffee cup. We'll go ahead and put this one on there too. It's always a little difficult when the cup is empty and it's plastic. And then the original that I made for the video. So again, thank you for coming. keep a lookout for the next one, which will be the shell or the bean, but those will be the next 2 videos done within the next week.